Kicking off with the weekend vibes. Let's talk, we go live. Bobby fans and fish tank Hank. Miami Dolphins, we got your back. Saturday noon is the place to be. Catching Dolphins, talking fantasy. From the field to the fan debate. Fins talk today, don't be late. Fins up, we ride until the end. With Bobby and Hank, they're your best friends. Podcast popping every week, no delay. Join the crew, Fins talk today. Live chatting, stats so prime. Miami hustle all the time. News and views will pave the way. Dive on in, it's Fins Talk today. Top plays and what went wrong. Breaking down each game so strong. Fans united, feel the beat. Fins Talk, family can't be beat. Fins up, we ride until the end. With Bobby and Hank, they're your best friends. Podcast popping every week, no delay. Join the crew, Fins Talk today. Fins up, we ride until the end. With Bobby.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to another edition of Fins Talk today here on FTSN. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. That's Fish Tank Hank. Hankster, how you doing, my man?
You know, today is a great day, Bobby.
Amen.
You know, I'm looking around. My cat's been scratching me a bit. And thought about throwing it in the water to see if it gets more violent, but nah, figured I'd stop doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that. Oh, man. We got Aladino in here already. Aladino, what is up, my man? Great to see you. Adrian of the Rainy Day Pod. I was on Rainy Day Pod last night. Adrian is an awesome dude. We talked Dolphins. We talked life. What an awesome individual, man. If you guys love the Dolphins, love wrestling, love Miami sports, go check out the Rainy Day Pod. Go subscribe. Adrian is one of a kind, man. Thank you so much, Adrian, for having me on last night, brother. It was amazing. I look forward to next time.
Hey, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
He's definitely one of a kind. I'm half of a kind, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're the other half.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Half of this Fins Talk today kind. Q, what's up, Q? Q of the I Hate Football podcast and College Blitz on FTSN. Great to see you, my man. Good afternoon to you. From Miami, grew up in Miami, but a Niners fan. I hope, I think it's a Niners. Yeah, Niners fan. So there you go. But great to see you in here, my man. Appreciate you, brother. So much to talk about. We're getting closer and closer now to the NFL preseason. In regards to Miami, we did see our first glimpse of real football a couple days ago for the Chargers. And holy crap, and my brain is fried. I forgot what damn team they were playing. But anyway, fun game. My brain is fried, guys. And I think I'm coming down with a cold, but it's all good. It's all good. Adrian did that. Adrian took all of the health I had left. And now I got a cold, and I'm not done. It's a busy weekend. The Lions, thank you, Q. Q is always coming in the clutch. Lions and the Chargers. And, it was a fun game. It was a fun game to watch. It's just to see football, just to see some good football. But what we care about here is the Miami Dolphins and the preseason game coming up. We're excited about that. A lot of good noise coming out of Dolphins training camp, Fish Tank. We always have that, right? We're coming off the downtrodden of last year, kind of like, we're all a little down about it. And, you try to find the bright spots, and you know what the weak ones are. Adrian and I went over it last night. You and I have discussed it in the past. But, it seems to happen every season. Before the season, guys stick out at camp. You start to go, wait a second. Maybe this team is better than we thought. Maybe there's some good things here. Maybe there's some stuff to look at. We've been there, done that. However, there are some bright spots for this training camp so far. We're going to discuss that. Shout out, though, to everybody right now at training camp today. Lots of love for Big E. Yeah, Adrian was about to say, man, Big E getting a lot of love. Of course, Big E right now is in UPenn, hopefully getting the help he needs. And we send our good thoughts and prayers out to Big E. I know down there they miss him, that familiar face. So, he's getting those good vibes. So that's all that matters, man. And
we love you, bro. We love you.
There was a little bit of a scare for Jalen Phillips today, but he said he's fine. He just got a little bit of a tweak, but he's all good. People got nervous, I get it. But there's a lot of good things coming out of camp, a lot to love. And talk about Jalen Phillips. Let's talk about first, Fish Tank. Usually want to start with the quarterback, but let's start right now with the front seven of the Miami Dolphins, because Adrian and I went over it yesterday. I mean, and when you go back and if you're in South Florida and you're at camp, you're seeing it. If you're outside of South Florida, you're reading about it. This front seven is something that looks special. Chop Robinson, a lot of love from his veteran teammates. Jalen Phillips says this guy's could be call him a future defensive player of the year. He's been dominant in camp so far. The front seven has been making it look easy. A lot of people are saying that the NFL is sleeping on this front seven. So very quick, we kind of, just looking on paper, you look at this front seven of Kenneth Grant, Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb, who those two guys right there, we know how good they can be when healthy. But then you're seeing it's translating in camp. How are you feeling about this front seven right now and what you've been hearing?
I'm looking at Jalen Phillips, Zach Sieler. We got Jordan Brooks, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson. I mean, the list, Kenneth Grant, the list just goes on and on and on as far as our defense goes. And like I told you quite a while back, Bobby, I told you our secondary sucks. We all know the secondary sucks. But like I told you before, I think our defensive line is going to help them out this year. Now, we've had quite a few injuries to our cornerbacks, and it was already depleted to begin with. And we got even more injuries since training camp has started. So there are a lot of good reasons to to take the time to sit there and look. Wow, what are we going to do? But as you and I had talked about before, we have to get at them. We have to push back on the quarterback and not allow the run. And I think Grant and Sieler are going to take care of the run. And then you got you got players like Benito Jones, Quentin Bell, Willie Gay will be in there. I mean, those are some backup players, that can come in and have a good impact also in that rotation. And I think our defensive front is stronger than 9 out of 10 teams in the NFL right now. That's how good I think our front line is in our defense.
So, and I'll just say this very quick. We're talking about Willie Gay right now, but Miami seems to be experimenting with that defensive line, lining up Jalen Phillips in the middle, really playing around. They've been nasty this training camp so far. Willie Gay, who we signed as a linebacker, says that it's the best front seven in football. Micah Fitzpatrick, who we just traded for from Pittsburgh, who just came back to the Dolphins, agrees that the defensive starts up front. The defense starts up front. What you were just saying, I said it last night on Rainy Day Pod, and I credited you that that it's true that this the even though we all know the depth of the secondary and the injuries and everything, that hurts Miami's chances, but the strength of that front seven, followed by the good play so far of our linebackers, could help that secondary, especially with the injuries and the young guys. Willie Gay, he's been making a lot of noise in camp. He's been a dog in camp. And so has Jordan Brooks. You start thinking about that linebacking crew, and you're going, man, I am ultra excited to see those guys play with the noise they've been making in camp. has been something else, and quite refreshing, because there was a lot to be concerned with the defense when you go to the secondary. I mean, there's, yes, they signed Jack Jones, they've signed Mike Hilton. That's good. Some veteran players back there, guys who've been very good in the past. They haven't been good lately, but they've been good in the past. Can they bring that out? Can they bring that back? Jack Jones seems to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. He has a chip. He's ready. He's like, man, I should not be on my third team. I should be, and it's true. You're a good player. You shouldn't be. So show it. You deserve more than a 1-year deal. However, like I said last night on Rainy Day Pod, and I've said before with us, with this secondary, I really want to see a lot of the young guys. We got a young unit back there. I want to see these guys come in. I want to see these guys play. I want to see them either rise to the occasion or fail, so we know who we need to move on from. I'm willing to take the growing pains. I think we have the front seven and the linebacking unit to afford that. Our safety unit is a concern, obviously with other than Minka Fitzpatrick. Malafanu is on the PUP, wherever that, and then Ashton Davis is injured, and so is Dante Trader. So we got to see how those guys are going to come back, how they're going to play. What's up, Daniel? Daniel says Tanner Connor had a big day. I think him and Pharaoh Brown will be week 1 starters. There you go. Pharaoh Brown being a better blocker. I wonder how Pharaoh Brown's looking, though, Daniel. If you could let us know how Pharaoh Brown's been looking in camp, how he's been looking possibly as a pass catcher. We know he's more of a blocker. Tanner Connor, maybe that, if he's having a big day and if he continues a good camp, it's good to plug and play him. We'll see what happens. Go ahead.
Somebody else you left out that I want to bring up is Tyrell Dodson. He's our inside linebacker. I mean, he's a rotational guy, but he has the potential to be a starter. And, we acquired him, mid-2024, and 26 tackles and 3 interceptions in 8 games, 3 starts. His speed and instincts, that makes him a playmaker. And we paid like $2.5 million. Cap hit is a steal for a starter, level talent, of course. He adds depth and flexibility to our linebacker group, but he could push for a starting role alongside Brooks, especially if he continues making the splash plays in coverage, His low costs and high upside make him a pretty valuable asset. And, 3 interceptions in his limited start in 2024 highlights his ball skills. And we have people like that, and nobody's thinking about some of these players. But like you said, that front 7 is the biggest part of it. But if you don't have good linebackers and safeties, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in big trouble, at least in your short game. You know that. And but I think, you got to remember, teams just don't go 60 to 70 yard passes down the field like they're common everyday things either, even though these people are professionals, So as far as our cornerbacks go, right now, I think we have enough coverage to help. Now, will there be enough help with as much damage? That's a huge question that we're going to have to wait and see. And we have several positions that are thin like that, and that's what I worry about.
You're absolutely right with thin. I again talked about this last night with Adrian on Rainy Day Pod with the Dolphins. On paper, you look at that roster and you're the front, all the guys on front. You're like, damn, Tua, Devon Achen, the receivers. You look at the offensive line, not bad. You look at the secondary. You look at the Minka Fitzpatrick. The front seven. Wow. It's the depth that's the issue. It's when you turn the page, you look at the backups and the backups of these other positions. You're going, well, what the hell is that? It's like a store that's not stocked. So
yeah, I know.
That's a concern. Absolutely. Let me ask you this very quick. We'll stick with the front 7 very quick. Zach Sieler.
Yeah.
He's there. He did skip some of camp, but he's there in mandatory camp. He's not going to hold out. He wanted to be a part of the team with his teammates, but he wants a new deal.
Mhm.
Should Miami get that deal done now, or would you rather them wait?
You know, you gotta. Didn't they just give him a new deal? Um, they gave him a deal, and they should have given him more in the first place. You know, um, they kind of lowballed him in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $30 million extension back in 23.
Yeah, I mean, he's primarily a 3-4 defensive end or a 4-3 tackle. You know, um, he's elite. He's one of the NFL's most underrated interior defenders. He recorded back to back 10 sack seasons in 23 and 24. So, that's a rare feat for a defensive tackle, to be able to do that and get that kind of a push. 13 tackles for a loss, stop the run, rush the passer. Uh, you know, he fits right in with Weaver's scheme too. You know, he fits right in there with what Weaver wants to do, which is gap control and pocket collapse. Um, you know, he's what, 12.5 million cap. That's 31st. That's 31st amongst interior linemen. You know, he obviously exceeds that cost by a long margin. So he needs to be paid. He needs to be paid like a top 10. I would say he's 10.
I I agree with you. Yes, he did sign that 3-year, $30 million extension, but like you said, underrated, underpaid, 10 sacks in 2 seasons, consecutively. He did skip voluntary OTAs, like I said, but has been active and present for mandatory minicamp. He's a full participant in training camp. He's leading by example. This is the
Yeah.
guy you want to be on your team. This is the guy you want to reward. So, we had a great discussion last night, thinking about last night, and in the past we've talked about it. How is the culture going to change in Miami? Could McDaniel do it? He can't do it alone. He needs players. He needs those leaders to step up. Zach Sieler is one of those guys. If you get Zach Sieler on your side and you tell him, excuse me, and you get him to buy in and lead by example with McDaniel, which he would, that's the ultimate team player. That's the ultimate team guy. You reward that guy. You keep him. So I absolutely think he should be taken care of. Make him happy because he's earned it. As Adrian is saying right here, he's the most consistent, one of the most consistent players we have.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's so true. I don't ever see him take a day off, a play off. I mean, he's always involved in a play, even when the play is dead. He is still going. You reward that type of player. You don't reward the guys who go half-ass. Scotty, what's up, Scotty? Go ahead.
The other thing is, if you give him an extension, that could lower his cap number too, while locking in a key piece to our defense. So it's all how everything's done, and he's definitely worth sitting down and taking a couple days to figure out how to fit him in however you need to pay him a little bit more.
Yeah, and Scotty has a good point. He's going to be 30 next month. What type of extension are you offering? You don't want to go overboard here. I don't think you need to go overboard with signing him. I don't think you have to overpay. I think just a little bit more, an extra year. I'd rather pay him now and then worry about that all later, just because I don't want to lose him right now. We see Miami will do that. If a player doesn't get paid, they'll move on from him, or they'll say, we got one more year and then we're going to move on from you. I'm not moving on from Zach Sieler. You don't move on for someone like that. You keep that guy. So Adam Schefter reports Zach Allen has agreed to a 4-year, $102 million extension with the Broncos. There you go. That might be a bar. That might be the ceiling for a Zach Sieler extension. So very good. Thank you, Kat, for telling us that. Let's stay with more training camp buzz. Tua Tagovailoa has had a solid camp so far. No picks for Tua, unless he threw one today. But which is very nice, not throwing interceptions in training camp. I mean, he has been playing, and it's not like some kind of fluke or, when you're looking at it, it's not like, oh, it's just practice. We know a live game is different. However, he's playing smart. He's getting the ball where it needs to be. That's great to see. But I'll tell you what I'm more excited with Tua. And I said this last night, and I reacted earlier on, is that leadership. When he called out Tyreek Hill and say, an apology, it's nice, but it doesn't mean it's all good. You have to earn it. And, Hill himself responded saying Tua is upholding the standard of accountability. This is huge to me. This is that's you could have a very good game. We know Tua has had good games. I don't care what anybody says. We know Tua could play really good. He could have a great game, However, the one thing you could question was there legitimate leadership? I don't think you can right now. So far, so good. Because if we're talking about a culture change, it has to start with the quarterback, has to start with your veteran team, your players, your best players on your team. Tua is one of those guys. He is the quarterback. He's the you got to by default a leader, but he has not shown it. He's showing it now. So no interceptions is really good. I know how accurate Tua could be. I know how good he can be. I know how bad he can be, but he's better than he is bad. This was one of the missing things, and I love that we're seeing that growth out of Tua. Hopefully, it translates into the season. What do you think about Tua's newfound leadership qualities so far?
Well, let's break him down a little bit. Like you said, he's got no interceptions, and that's over like 7 practices. So that's pretty good. But and I know he can dump some garbage on the ground. I mean, but again, that's practice. That was before they started putting pads on. That's a great improvement. He threw 21 interceptions in 2023 and 2024. Career high of 14 in 2023. I don't know. His leadership qualities, that's what you're asking me about, though. He is a central leader for the Dolphins, And like I told you before, just because he doesn't make what he does for the public to know or the public to hear, this is going to be a pivotal year for Tua. He needs to be much more outspoken to his guys if he isn't already. But I think he is, like I've told you. I think he's a lot like his father. He takes his time. He wants to hear what's going on. He wants to see what can be and can't be, who can and who can't. He doesn't just throw himself on the barbecue just to do it. You know what I mean? And that's a huge part of his locker room presence, in my opinion. I think that Tua is probably one of those guys that when you're in a crowded room and he has something to say, he's one of those guys you want to drop what you're doing and listen to what he has to say, because typically he just doesn't shoot a bunch of crap out of his mouth. You know what I mean, Bobby? And most of the time, he's got some kind of significant and valued input. Unlike a lot of other people that just want to complain or, whatever the case may be. I just don't think he's I just don't think he's one of those idiot people that just stands up there and complains and points the finger without doing a little bit of this first, looking inside first on what he could do, looking at what he hasn't gotten accomplished that he's wanted. I know Tua's done all that. Like I said, his father's the reason why I know he's done that. And Tua is a man of men that you want to listen to, like I said, when he speaks. And as a leader, the quarterback on the team, the whole offense is going to listen. Now you might have some defensive players that go, yeah, that's quarterback hype. But I guarantee everybody on that offensive line's listening to him. So I think he's got great leadership, you know. His on-field leadership is like accountability, practice goals, areas to focus on, things like that. And he doesn't just pass over things. So I think he's a great leader. Like I said, this is what his sixth season now. So, you know, he's got to step it up. He's got to get this offense moving. Now he plays good. He plays really good most of the time. But there's still some things like you've said, Bobby. He needs to grab a couple more tools in his toolbox and put them to use.
Absolutely. Aladino, Jose, great to see you in here. I'm trying. I am trying. I got two more shows after this throughout the weekend, so it's all good. I'll be fine. I'll survive. Scotty says, I'd like to see McDaniel loosen the leash onto a being able to audible. Adrian says, just practice. Tua's had a lot of time in this system now. He needs to show some level of mastery game time. I think he will. Sieler is also a top character on this team, Daniel says. Absolutely. And again,
Definitely.
what Adrian has said earlier, consistent. He's consistent. Zach Allen got that big deal. Zach Allen's obviously 27, about to be 28. Sieler's about to be 30. But if you look at Allen's numbers compared to Zach Sieler the past two seasons, yeah, I could understand probably looking at that, trying to get close to that. And
how much did Allen get?
Let's see here. Cap says 4 years, $102 million. I don't think it'll be close to that, but definitely needs to be in it won't be that, but it has to be a little closer to that because you're paying him. It's 3 years, $30 million.
I'd say 480.
Yeah, he has to get something because
he's got to get around 480.
Can't lose him. Anyway,
at least 360 if they want to hold him back because of his age. Something. He's so underpaid at 12 and a half. It's not even funny.
Moving on. So talking about some other guys who have shown out in camp. Obviously the guys who've donned the orange jersey, Jalen Waddle, Chop Robinson, Tua, Jordan Brooks. I don't know if Willie Gay has done it yet. He should. He's been really turning heads at camp. Chop Robinson it looks like he's at a freaking, if training camp is any worth a dime, I mean, he looks like he's going to have a big year, and that's awesome to see. I'm excited for him. His teammates are excited for him. To be a cool thing to see. Talking about a guy who probably doesn't get a lot of love or thought really this preseason or in this offseason. We talk about that running back room. Miami has a very good problem right now in that running back room. When you look at, you got Devon Achane. We know what we believe we have in Jalen Wright, even though he's been having some fumbling issues. He has to fix that. He had a fumble in drills, which scooped up for a touchdown by Bradley Chubb. And we know how McDaniel feels about fumbles. Look what he did with Raheem Mostert. So that has to work. Hopefully that doesn't translate into the season. Ollie Gordon had a slow start to camp. He's starting to pick it up a little bit. Love to see it. He's a rookie. It's okay. But he's also a 6th-round pick. And the guy that nobody was talking about really was Mattinson. And Mattinson, who is that short yardage back everywhere else, has had himself a really good to great camp. As Scotty just posted in there, bigger than I expected. He's had a solid camp, breaking off big runs. And McDaniel, I don't have it in front of me, but McDaniel was that in these other teams that he was on, they weren't using him correctly. That they're planning to open that up for him and break free of that just short yardage back. So they have vision for him with what they've seen. They're like, hey, this guy could be a big part of our offense. So shout out to Alexander Mattinson, who's having a very good camp. This is a guy who nobody was talking about. And this is what I'm talking about when you take the ball and you run with it, no pun intended. When, don't beg for a chance, don't cry for a chance. When you get the opportunity, show you earn it. And this is what he's doing. That's what Willie Gay is doing. That's what these guys are doing. And it's damn cool to see. And so reading up on or just hearing about Alexander Mattinson, Fish Tank, what are you thinking about the running back room and Mattinson as a whole?
Well, Matson, you got to remember, he's a veteran, first of all. So it's always good to have veterans. And he's that type of back where if Miami needs 5 yards or under, you can pretty much put him in that spotlight and expect to see some kind of results. And typically those results are going to be for positive yardage. Leadership. He's a low maintenance guy, he's with him being a veteran, he could see 100 to 150 carries. And if he's getting that kind of action, you're going to see a lot from him. Like you said, Gordon is a 6th-round pick, but man, he could really come in and do something. But Matson could be good for those like 7 yards we're trying to get in the red zone. He could be one of those players that can turn that type of stuff around for us. And like I said, you put him and Gordon in the backfield, forget about it. Forget about it. And uh, um, Jonah S., our lineman, offensive lineman, is pushing people around too. And he's been pushing people around. And they're getting, 40, 60 yards off of him, making holes. So, there's a big part of why a lot of running backs have been getting, accolades so far. It's been the change of, with Patrick Paul on the left side, consistency. And then you have Jonah in there making holes. I mean, it's a thing of beauty, man. We haven't had something like that in a long time. But again, what are we concerned about? Depth. Depth everywhere is our concern. So, running backs, that's one place we have zero concerns. I can't see any reason why we'd be concerned with our running back room at all. We got 2 power backs, 2 speed backs. We're good to go.
Absolutely. No, the running back is one room that I'm not really concerned in regards of depth. I want to, again, Mattinson now carving out that role for himself, which is awesome to see. You want to see that out of those guys. Again, hopefully it translates into the season. I'm really looking forward to see the preseason because of that. I want to see these other guys. I want to see the backups because that's what I'm concerned with. I know what Tyreek can do. I know what Waddle can do. I know what Tua can do. I know what Sieler can do. I know what those guys are. I want to see what those other guys can do. I want to see a guy surprise me. So, or ease my fear.
Ease your fear.
Ease the fear of the death. Taj Washington, Theo Reese Jr. making some noise in the wide receiver group. Good to see. We know Mattinson has been surging. Great to see. Our quarterback room. Zach Wilson, slow start to camp, slowly but surely getting a little bit better. He's having that battle with the QB2 spot with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers, from what I've seen when watching some of the highlights and some of the recordings from the fans and reading up on him, he's been having a solid camp. I mean, he had a great play today. I mean, right where it needed to be. And man, this is a guy that many projected just a season or two ago. This guy was a first-round pick, best player coming out of high school at one point, falls in the 7th round. He has talent. Do I want to see him come on the field this year? No. You want Tua to be healthy for as long as he can be. You would love to see 17 games. You want to see not more than 17 games because we want to see the playoffs. But it's good to see Ewers, a 7th round pick. We know he could have been a little higher, having this type of camp, because if that situation does present itself, if and Tua comes out and Ewers could come in and Ewers steps up, it would be a good thing to see. That's something you want to see. So far, a very good camp in his first year as a 7th round pick. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to show the world that, hey, I should have been drafted a little higher. I think he's having a better camp than Shedeur Sanders. I watch some stuff on Shedeur Sanders, and not say that he's going to be a bust. I don't think that's fair for any rookie at this point. But Shedeur Sanders, hasn't been looking good, at least from what I've seen. Maybe I've missed some things, but I heard that I've been seeing Ewers has been having a solid camp. But Zach Wilson, I haven't seen today. I haven't read up too much on him today, but we'll see. We'll see. That's why people are still talking about the quarterback. Maybe Ewers beats him out. That's what I'm excited. Adrian, we talked about it last night. I want to see these backups. That's what I'm excited about preseason. We all want to see the starters because we want to get a glimpse of what they can do, but we know what they can do. I want to see the young guys. I want to see what they can do and put them against some starters. Then we'll know. What do you think, Fish Tank?
I like yours. I really like him. I'm just beside myself that he dropped so far. But I understand why he dropped, but that far, I was shocked that we got him, to be honest with you. I was completely beside myself that they get this guy in the 7th round. And he could be our number 2 quarterback for many years to come, because if Tua isn't it, and they want somebody better than yours, they find out at the end of the year, like if there's somebody coming out in the draft that they think is better that they might want, we might go that direction.
We got some breaking news.
Go for it.
Austin Jackson is expected to be out for multiple weeks with a lower extremity injury. That's from Cameron Wolf. His hope is that he will be back by week 1. Barry Jackson says that's the hope. NFL Network's Cam Wolf was reported. Backup tackle play has been poor, regrettably. Of course, our best backup, Adrian Eichenberg, is out. So we don't know how that's going to look, but and everybody loves that. But Austin Jackson out multiple weeks with lower extremity injury, most likely out for the preseason. Could be ready for the regular season. As soon as he signed his deal, man, he started really getting those injuries. So there you go. Hopefully he's back for week 1. What's your reaction to that, Fish Tank? We just talked about death on that O-line. Austin Jackson out for preseason. Your thoughts? Reaction.
Of course there has to be something going on. Just saying how good I think we're going to be doing and everything else, and now he's out. Wow. He's obviously one of our key protectors for Tua. We all know that. On his blind side, he had a knee injury in 2024. So when they say lower, what are we talking about? Can you describe that to me again?
Just says lower extremity. That's all. It's no specifics. And of course, wide receiver D. Eskridge, who had a good deep ball from Zach Wilson a couple days back. He was carted off the field today after picking up a hamstring injury.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, losing Austin Jackson would really hurt, like you said. Um, who would fill in would be the question, Bobby. Um,
Well, the good thing, well, not good thing, but for Miami, the good thing about their line is they do have guys that you could plug and play. That's if Eichenberg was healthy, it would be Eichenberg. I mean, right? I mean, that's it. But is it Brunskill? Let's see something for a second. Let's take a look. Hopefully,
we
it's
got
just
rid of Lamb, right? So
yeah. Lamb's gone. Let's see. So here's your backups right now. Oh Lord,
it's
Ryan
not
Hayes.
good.
Ryan Hayes, undrafted free agent from last year. Keon Smith, Larry Boehm, who we signed from Seattle. Braden Daniels, Brunskill. He's one of those guys who can play multiple positions. I'll be honest, I don't know if he's played offensive tackle, but again, this is what I'm talking about. Adrian, I said it last night. When I worked at Walgreens, you put all the items up front. You front the store, face the store. Oh, looks really full. Looks really nice. You move that
Yeah.
one item, you take that item, and all of a sudden it's empty or a bunch of multiple, random items. That's what the Dolphins' offensive line is. So,
we were just talking about this, Bobby.
yeah. So Scotty
And
says
you're
move Keon back out to tackle, leave Brunskill inside. There you go.
let's be realistic here, okay? Let's be realistic, Bobby, because you love realism. At some point in time, Miami is going to have multiple players out. When I say multiple, we're talking 3 players at a time at least. And when that happens, I just hope our team doesn't completely fall apart. But it's going to depend on who it is. If it's Jonah S., if it's Patrick Paul, if it's an Ollie Gordon or Minka Fitzpatrick or one of our edge rushers or Grant or Sieler. You grab 3 of those players, take them off the field, you might have some problems. So just missing somebody off of that side is going to kill us. I mean, we need him back before week 1.
Yeah. And that's right. Projected he's gonna be back week 1. I
They
think
hope.
yeah, they hope. This is the time. Good thing it's preseason. This would be the time to put them. And let me just say, I see Savanea at right tackle. He's learning left guard. He's a rookie. Leave him alone. He's learning that spot. He could play multiple positions. He was my number 1 player on the board and for offensive lineman. I love it. I'm not moving Savanea. That's it. Patrick Paul's learning left tackle. You leave him at left tackle. Ryan Hayes, move him to right tackle. See what you got. Keon Smith, put him at right tackle. You see what you got. Maybe you say, oh, damn, we have a decent backup there. He's not going to be perfect. Of course, they're not going to be perfect. But let's see what we have in those guys. The good thing it happened right now at the start of preseason, rather than right at the start of week 1, where Austin Jackson's out for 4 weeks. Let him heal up for 4 weeks. Let's see what we have with these guys at right tackle, and we go on from there. Just hopefully it's not, oh, he's back for week 1. He gets re-injured now, and he's out for another 4 weeks. We don't want that. I'll tell you what. I would rather see Miami now instead of they got their 2 corners. I know we're still talking about Asante Samuel. I would like to see Miami now maybe go target, if there's a veteran offensive tackle out there, bring him in to be that backup guy, be that plug-in starter in case Austin is not ready come week 1. So there you go. Some breaking news coming in right now for the Dolphins. Austin Jackson out for training for preseason. I agree, Daniel. Not moving him. We're not doing it. Don't do it. Appreciate it.
Well,
Good
what
idea. No.
the good thing about all this, Bobby, he's got time to heal. That's the best part of it. The other part is it does give us that time, like you said, especially during preseason, to find out what we have, who we have backing him up, how good can they be? Can we put them in a game time situation if he's not ready by week 1 or 2? But the best part about it all is Jackson's not a rookie; he's a veteran,
Yeah.
and he's been through the ringer with bad play, good play, in between. And so this is kind of like the year he should either be locking it down a little more or getting pushed off the board by somebody else soon. Now, it's funny people say, I can. No, I don't know. Like you said, Bobby, bring one of those other guys in. That's what we should be doing.
Well, Eichenberg is hurt anyway, so he's out. But he would be the obvious plug and play guy there if he was still healthy.
That scares me.
Jonah just signed his contract. First off, shout out to Jose for commenting and being involved and all that. Appreciate him. Appreciate everyone watching right now. But Jonah first already signed his deal. Just signed his deal. He got his bag, and he's a rookie. I think he's focused on the position he wants that they're putting him in. I think he'll do whatever they ask. That's what I'd rather him. I'm not saying he better ask. I don't want my rookie demanding anything from me. But I think he would. If they had told him, hey, man, we need you to come in and play at right tackle, he'll say, where do you want me? He's that type of guy. So he would do it if they asked. But if you're asking me, I'd rather him stay at left guard, let him learn that position, let him learn how to be, a tag team with Patrick Paul, who's also learning the position. I think those two guys together can grow into something special. So I'm not moving them right now. I'm not moving them. You got Keon Smith. You got try to work out those guys. See what you have in those other guys behind them. They have a whole trade. Now they have a whole preseason. They're gonna get all the reps. That right side, you're getting all those reps. Keon Smith, Ryan Hayes, whatever. Let them get the reps. Let's see what we have. Because if one of them steps up, you go, okay, now not so bad. We know what we have in them. Like Kendall Lamb, when Kendall Lamb came in for Taron Armstead, Lamb went in and was like, damn, Lamb ain't bad. He's good at left tackle. Let's see what we have in those other guys before we start moving a rookie.
Well, Bobby, you got the whole left side. You got from the center over locked up.
Yeah.
Right now for our team.
Absolutely.
So, your concern is to his blind side, which is okay because he's going to scan that side of the field first 9 out of 10 times anyway, unless he's looking for somebody specific on the right side right away. He's going to look over there first. And when he's looking over there coming out of the snap or shotgun or wherever, that side being built up gives him some place to run to. It gives him some place to start to move to before anybody can get behind him on his blind side. And that gives him extra time and opportunity to get the ball out to the other side of the field too.
Yeah.
So I think as long as he's kind of shifting to his left or rolling out slightly in that direction, I think it's gonna help tremendously to keep everybody where they're at. And like you said, let's pivot and see who we can put out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we are almost at the hour here. We're going to wrap this one up. I'm going to take some Sudafed, get this cleared up here. Daniel says Bobby Farrell Brown is making plays, catching balls. He's more of a possession receiver. Connor's the vertical threat. Appreciate the heads up, Daniel. Asked him earlier. Daniel coming in the clutch. I appreciate you. Fish Egg, we're about to wrap this one up. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm just I'm probably gonna go take a nap. I'm exhausted.
Oh man, there you go. So appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate you all tuning in. Dolphins Training Camp preseason will start next weekend, Saturday. Excited about that. We are fun. Football is back. Shout out to the Miami Marlins. What a game last night. Down 6, come back, down 3, comes back, and then down 2 and comes back 13-12 against the Yankees. That was a hell of a game. The Marlins making some noise. It could be catching up to that wild card spot. Let's go, South Florida sports. I would like to be done, but I'm not done. I will be back later today, 4 p.m. Eastern time for No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast for the pre-show for SummerSlam Night 1 and, of course, Night 2 tomorrow. I'll be doing both nights for today, so I don't have to do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'll be back on with Jarvis Tank Courtney, offensive lineman, who wants his dream. He's chasing to play in the NFL, chasing the dream to play with the Dolphins. I'm going to go one-on-one with him to talk about that dream, get to know him a little bit. So join me today and tomorrow as we continue some Fins Talk here on FTSN. That's the legendary Fish Tank Hank. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. Like and subscribe. And most importantly, Fins up.